Hello everyone, Alexman here, and welcome back to the next session of Sonic and Shadow Generations. And it's time finally for Shadow to take his rightful place as the cooler character, because he's the coolest. And we're going to see in his side of the story what happened during White Space. So we'll hit new game here, and we're going to override our initial playthrough. Yes, and please. Thank you. So, for those not knowing about Shadow's past or anything, Shadow the Hedgehog was created over 50 years ago by Gerald Robotnik. And Maria, which we see right here, was basically very fond of him. And basically was probably only Shadow's only friend at the time. Shadow was created using in a Faustian deal with Gerald Robotnik with these
Believe so.
with these creatures called the Black Arms, an alien race, and in the hopes to basically help cure an illness that Maria had, and Shadow's DNA would most likely have the ability to cure Maria's illness at some point. But unfortunately, as we all know from Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog, Maria was kind of shot down.
This is Rouge.
And Shadow's life was changed for the, I guess, the worse or something.
Shadow here. I copy.
So the beginning of this story is that, at least according to Dark Beginnings, is that
The space colony.
GUN basically detected a life form on the Ark, and Shadow kind of sensed it as well. So he's up here trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
Biosignature aboard the Ark. I'm not leaving until I eliminate any possible threat.
There's free food.
It is really there's free food, and Shadow's like, I don't care about free food. I've got duty bound on my own code. That doesn't look like fun. That looks like evil. Let's take him on. In our first level
Got you now.
on the Space Colony Ark. What a great level to start out on. I mean, this is like one of again, this is the highlight level for a lot of people, and it still kind of feels like when I go back to play like Sonic Adventure, I usually go play the Ark levels as well as at least Sonic and Shadow's Ark levels. But not really much of anyone else's though, because technically, in all fairness, and in the adventure games, it was really just, it's only better to go play, just go play the action stages. Who cares about the treasure hunting or anything else? No. And maybe that's for the better, technically. Because, man, I tell you, those little guys are kind of bloat. That bloated the game so hard. So, Shadow is if you haven't played Shadow or Evolved, Shadow plays exactly the same as Sonic did. Shadow has a double jump. He also has, basically everything that Sonic did has the abilities and everything. Light dash, all that stuff. Even though Light dash is not in this game, by technicality.
This is ultimate power.
And, well, I would say it's kind of basically what I say between this and the revised Sonic generations of this game, Shadow the Hedgehog has got the better control scheme because he plays exactly like Sonic did in base Sonic generations back in 2013, 2011. So, you know what? He has the best attack. He has the best control scheme by far. I mean, it's the best. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Because there's no drop dash. Shadow never learned the drop dash, and good riddance, because now I can have as much fun as I want and have a jolly good time with it. Oh, come on, Shadow, get over that hill. Also, Shadow has the innate ability of Chaos Control. Chaos Control can be indicated when you have your meter down the bottom filled up, which can be filled up by either destroying enemies or filling up our crate with these little Chaos Control capsules. Going through and why is his missile even here? I don't know why. It's like, was the life form that Shadow Detective did this? I don't know. Like, it's such a random set piece. If you do fail this for whatever reason, you have to repeat this sector. So bear that in mind. Another GUN must have really loved springs. Like, that's kind of finding weird with basically, at least with modern level design of Sonic, is that for some reason that there's like, even in like the post-apocalyptic Crisis City, there was still, you know, bounce pads aplenty. And it's like, how did this happen? How are these guys, these things in the future, these springs and everything are just randomly placed here? They must have hurt, I guess, because at least Sonic and Shadow can indeed feel pain. But these are like, you know, high-impact springs, so it's like, should this really hurt people or nothing? I don't know. I always kind of find out odd with basically with springs just randomly placed in places that look like they're at a government facility. Like, it's like maybe G-Man was just having that oddball day or something, you know. But we get the twist of what this entity is, and it is Black Doom from Shadow the Hedgehog 2005. It's kind of weird that maybe the Sega Sonic Team writers are finally trying to, you know, get out of the bland era, you know, where it was just, you know, just Sonic playable and there's generic bad guys. Because technically speaking, Shadow the Hedgehog, you know, at the height of his popularity when he was out and about, you know, after Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes, you know, Sonic Team wanted to say, you know what, we're gonna make an entire game based on Shadow, and this is where Black Doom was introduced. And tell you what, I did not ever finish Shadow the Hedgehog. I played it, but I never finished it because you have to play that. You have to play if you want to get like the full way and get the last story segment the game had. You have to play like the entire game like 10 times over just to get every ending. And it's like, no, it's like I'd rather play a game that's straight to the point, fun, and fast. And that's why basically, man, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing if they, you know, remastered Shadow the Hedgehog story with a boost formula. Like, it clearly shows that it can work with Shadow Generations. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Shadow the Hedgehog's remaster of some kind. I have heard a lot of people, I think I've heard a lot of rumor mills saying that there's rumors that, you know, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Sonic Heroes are in the rumor mill to be remastered. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing that if that was the case, but still, I mean, if anything, I think Shadow the Hedgehog deserves a second chance since this really took off, and clearly from what I've seen in the sales, this game is selling like mad, especially for the Shadow stuff. So
what I was tracking.
Maybe that it's finally have a dedicated, you know, maybe Shadow the Hedgehog's initial game needs a remaster or rework and have a better time with it. Also, the fact that I love Shadow's rank out music. It's such a good tune. But alas, we had grabbed a little relic from Black Doom. And that'll be put later. But then what a weird callback this is.
The fake Chaos Emerald Tails made to foil the Doctor's plans.
I mean, it's like, it's surprising that it's still here.
Between the two of them.
This thing's been here for like, what, 20 years now at this point? But as soon as Shadow's trying to figure stuff out, the Time Eater shows up to take away Sonic's friends, and unfortunately, the Time Eater is basically can be anywhere in time and basically takes over Shadow, basically captures Shadow, along with everybody else. But at least Shadow's strong enough to not get knocked out like Sonic did. Because after we get transported to white space here, Shadow is still here and still, you know, awoken. You know, he wasn't sleeping like Sonic was. But also, hey, our buddies here. E102, 123 Omega's here. And we got this big old dark moon in the sky. Not sure what that is, but you know what? It doesn't seem rather pressing, I guess. So, welcome to the white space of Shadow Generations. It's a more of a 3D hub world, unlike Sonic's, which was a 2D. Think of Shadow Generations' hub world kind of like Bowser's Fury from Super Mario 3D World. That's basically what it is. And also, we have an anomaly here. That is the DLC, movie DLC. We'll get to that in a momentarily, though. Shadow, you are here too. I was hunting Dr. Eggman's latest super weapon when it unleashed a temporal anomaly. So it seems like E1023 Omega was actually going after the Time Eater when he got captured. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Too bad he doesn't really have much in the story, though. I really wish that, you know, the helping people, I almost resume my hunt and destroy Dr. Eggman. Hooray. Sure thing, Omega. Let me get back to Space Colony Arc and handle Act 2. So, just like in Sonic Generations, Shadow Generations has 2 acts per stage. Where basically one's a full 3D and the other is 2D. And this, other than Sonic Forces episode Shadow, this is basically kind of a full-on, you know, 2D version of Shadow's first kind of 2D adventure. Also, in fact, this Chaos Control is very useful in these types of stages. Just for that sake alone, is that while under Chaos Control, it does basically pause the timer. If you want easier S ranks or something like that, you can use Chaos Control, and you can get yourself a very nice, wonderful S rank easy just from that. Because unlike Sonic Generations, as long as you basically get within the time frame to get the S rank, it's not based on score or any of that sort. So as long as you're able to get to the exit of the stage, the goal ring, before at this point in time, you'll get S rank regardless, despite you basically dying. Unlike Sonic, was like you had to make it perfect clear in order to get the here. Also, in every stage, there are these collector items, these keys. You don't have to collect them, but if you're a completionist, you will have to. But these things will unlock treasure chests in the hub world, and that's all they do. They unlock, you know, concept art, everything, and lore between the games of Shadow. So, if you want to know Shadow's true story in the game, you have to do that. Plus, and they're kind of a nice, good read and everything. So, open that up right there so I can get the shortcut. Thank you. There we go. Up like this. So, I mean, I just like Shadow's gameplay. Like, I've played this game to death already. I've only had it for a while. So I didn't get this game at launch. Obviously, I wanted to wait on it until money was right and all. But this game is so much fun. In fact, this is so much better than Sonic Generations by far, because the story is a lot more involved. Also, we get kind of a tease of Shadow's powers here in the form of the Doom Wings. But don't think we're going to be using this wings for very long. These wings are only here for this stage right now in the moment in the story. It's that the game wants to tease you what power, like technically what Shadow will be like in the future. It's kind of weird they tease you this now. But for face though, at the end game of all this, with Doom Wings and everything, if you're doing this for time trials and everything for the leaderboards, the game has two categories: one with these wings and one without. Because you can literally break this game in half if you have the wings on or not, because you can skip major parts of the level. Heck, even in fact, the level itself is got Doom Wing shortcuts that you can take, so you can get that extra time. We won't know how to do those Doom Wings until much later, though, unfortunately.
What was that new power? I've never done anything like that before. It's not something I should normally be able to do, yet it felt natural.
Am I really a hedgehog?
Causing these mutations.
Maybe I'm just a ball of goo. Yeah, it's like Shadow's gotta get these weird powers, but oh, what does he see over there? He looks like he's noticing something. What's he noticing over there? Hey, is that Maria? Gerald? No, those can't be real.
Maria?
Those guys died 50 years ago. Yeah.
She's gone. I'm seeing things.
Must be white space messing me up.
Maria!
But yeah, but Shadow does... If you're not knowing, Shadow has a really dark past. I mean, seriously, it's like...
Maria?
He suffered from amnesia at least twice. Just because of the traumatic event that happened here. That Maria got shot down by GUN.
But Hedgehog.
Which I still kind of feel like, why would GUN do that?
Deal with the problem at hand, not chase.
But it's just... That's like the one thing I'm always concerned about. Like... That Sega wanted this series to get darker, and what must more darker way than a young girl getting shot down by a weapon? Odd, to say the least. But anyway, we get ourselves our first of these Doom Gears. Doom Gears will basically unlock new powers as we go along through the adventure, and basically allows us to explore the world as we see fit. We go over here and activate our camera control and go into this area here, and we get to see what our first power is going to be. The Doom Gear just comes out of shadow, goes right on in. These must be really things that are Black Arms incorporated, because I'm pretty sure any Dark Arms could activate this and involve mutations. But this is Shadow's first mutation we're getting control of. Which is basically making his Chaos Spears into Doom Spears. Basically to get some powers, basically, to steal. We can stun enemies now, and like Metroid Prime Echoes, or Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, we can now just lock onto five targets at once and unlock doors. And such. Again, it gets very useful, because basically a lot of people have basically learned how to glitch this thing here and able to move around with the spear. You have 10 machine parts that may come in handy if collected. Look at the introduction of what those parts do later. But yeah, like this is right here we get here. If we collect enough stuff here, of these gears, you'll unlock these chests. And so you get like different concept art. Basically, they come in 3 varieties of chests. Green, yellow, and blue. Blue is artwork, yellow is music track, and green is lore. So if you want to learn more lore about the story, you have to learn more about, you have to get more keys. So, and almost every level has got these key locations, so you can activate them at any time. You got Rhythm Bass from White Jungle. So yeah, if you want basically more Shadow the Hedgehog representation, because there's no levels in this game that are from that game, you'll have to get that from the music tracks themselves, though. A normal dominant detected. Preliminary Black Arms research indicate it's a black moon. No immediate threat detected. Remain on high alert and proceed with the mission. What do you guys say, Omega?
Unable to process.
Chronometer function still offline. Destabilization of space-time continues. Source of disruption appears from the unidentified life form. Sonic is present and countering the effect. Explanation data not found. What do you guys say? The gear shaped object collected is resonating with a specific frequency. I detected matching frequency in the construct spirit standing out in the void. Now is this applying this gear to the construct may yield results. And which it did, so let's head off our next area, shall we?